Well, being the youngest of four girls, I always had sisters to look up to. When I was a baby, my dad heard about a spiritual teacher named Sai Baba, and he was like, oh my gosh, he sounds so unusual. And he was on a plane within a few weeks to India. He came back and said to my mom, oh my gosh, this is incredible. There's this being on the earth and you have to come with me and see him. And by the way, I'm not going to eat meat anymore just because I don't want to eat living things. And my mom was like, oh my gosh, what's happened to my husband? But within a month she realized, I don't want to eat the flesh of animals either. She became a vegetarian, but they never pushed it on us. And then when I was about 4, my sisters and I went to my parents and said, Mom, Dad, we don't want to eat animals. And so we stopped eating meat. I was about 4 and I never looked back. So that was a big part of it. Always feeling like we were a little different, because at that time, this was the 70s and 80s, and there weren't a lot of people that were vegetarian and Jewish, not a lot of Jewish people in the neighborhood. Then my dad told my mom, you need to come see Sai Baba. So within a few months, she was on a plane with him. And then she was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And we grew up with the influence of Sai Baba in our lives. Here he is with my mom and dad. But he's been a big part of our lives. We had people come from all around the world to our home because my dad ended up writing books about Sai Baba. And he was one of the earlier Westerners who wrote about the experience of being someone from a Western place going to meet this Indian spiritual teacher. And a lot of people then read at least his first book. I think millions maybe have read it. So, but that was hard because we have pictures of Sai Baba around our house and people thought it was weird. Ever since the mid 70s, we were one of the first Satya Sai Baba centers in the US. And we've had, every Thursday we have meetings at our house, which was a huge part of growing up, where we'd have people come and sing different bhajans or bhajans, which are songs to various names of the Lord. And then you could sing any song. So we would sing Avenu Shalom Aleichem, Avenu Shalom. So you can, because it's all, right? Avenu Shalom Aleichem, Avenu Shalom, Shalom, Shalom Aleichem. Like every Thursday night, a lot of people were watching Friends or something. I don't know what was on Thursday nights, but we didn't usually, because we had a meeting in our house. And school, I think we were pretty good students. So my oldest sisters are twins and they were valedictorians. So there's a lot of pressure to feel like self-imposed pressure. So I was a valedictorian. I mean, so, but I say it like that because people thought I was like a goody and I really wanted to break out of that mold. So when I went to college, I was kind of proud of not getting my first A. The influence of Sai Baba. So Sai Baba's teachings are around love all, serve all. And he believes that like the hands that serve are holier than the lips that pray, that you should be out and serve, being of service in society. If you are a Christian, be a better Christian. If you're a Jewish person, be a better Jewish person. If you're a Muslim, be a better Muslim. Like, it made me appreciate Judaism even more. The values of whatever your belief system is. And he doesn't tell people that they have to follow him, but we really loved him because he was this very loving being. I think when we were kids growing up, we're trying to understand it all, and also how do you communicate to your friends? But it was hard because we felt different. My sisters and I felt different. It was hard. It was a time for me to explore who I am and what do I believe. And it was a time that we were able to go to India 3 summers in a row, and we were able to speak with Sai Baba. And he gave us a lot of personal direction and did it with love and kindness, like of what we could study. And he materialized a beautiful Durga necklace for me. I know this sounds crazy. He waves his hand and out comes, and he says it's something connects you to him and connects you to that energy of love. So he asked us what we were studying, and I said a few things: social work, maybe veterinary medicine, maybe human medicine. He said, medicine? And I said, well, I have I have a weak stomach. And he said, strong mind, weak stomach, strong mind, management. So he told me to go into management. I'm like, what? The next summer we came back and he asked us what we were studying. And I said, this, and management. And he's like, management, like I told you last year. And I'm like, management? What the heck is management? He said, not business, not making money, but management, like about connecting with people and leading people and doing it with character and integrity. And then the third year, it was the same thing. It was like management, yes. And then I got a master's in health administration, which was management. But then the road is always long and windy, and I couldn't find a job. I went back to Ithaca for 2 more years. So I got a second master's. But this time I had more focus, and it was in industrial organizational psychology, which is working with groups of people. My dad's a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychiatrist, didn't want to be. This is working with groups of people and organizations and understanding how to lead teams and organizations effectively, and how to create alignment in the vision of an organization or a group of people or even a family. And then finally, I got an internship at Sun Microsystems, and it started to click, like, oh, management. So I wanted it to be black and white, like very clear to me, and it wasn't. And I think Sai Baba was challenging me to see life in the gray. Then I was able to get a job, a good job, my first like big girl job. And my third rotation was in Bangalore, India. Sai Baba's village, 2.5 to 3 hours by car from Bangalore. So during the week I would work, and then on the weekend I would go to see him. I think Sai Baba says, people say, are you God? And he says, well, I am, but you are too, you just don't know it. He left his physical form in 2011. They say that there's going to be 3. So there was 3 incarnations of the Sai Babas. So there was a Shirdi Sai Baba, and he was born in the 1800s, and he died in the early 1900s. Rare photograph of Shirdi Sai Baba with devotees. And then this is Satya Sai Baba, and Satya stands for truth. And he said that there's going to be a third named Prema Sai Baba with the coming of the golden age, basically. And Prema means love. It's the same divinity, it's just coming in a different form. So Sai Baba is still not in physical form.
What would he think about all that you have accomplished now in your life?
Oh, wow. He was always loving and encouraging, and I mean, he also helped. He was always telling my dad to find husbands for me and my sisters. Like, where are the husbands? Because there was a time when we were all in our 30s and we were all single. But he would tease me, like, where's your husband? Husband coming, I'll give you a good husband. Because I was always like, well, I would bring a picture of a guy, like, for instance, no, not, like, husband is coming. So I didn't meet an amazing man until I was 49. So he would probably, and I feel like, I mean, it's gonna make me cry, but I feel so grateful, like, that I've met Matt, your dad. Because I feel like Sai Baba was part of bringing us together. So I think Sai Baba would be happy that Matt and I have met each other. So yeah, I mean, I think it brings me to today, and I've most recently stumbled upon a practice called positive intelligence, which is about building mental fitness to life's challenges with a positive rather than a negative mindset. And I feel like it's so what I've needed to find in my life, because it's about shifting your negative ways of thinking, which is what Sai Baba is saying, is to approach things with love and nonviolence. And it's Satya Dharma Shanti Prema Ahimsa. Today I'm trying to incorporate positive intelligence, incorporating into the coaching I'm doing with people, which I feel like is an application of like some of what he was telling me to do. So that's a lot. That's a lot. I don't tell a lot of people about this because it seems really strange. I'm sorry you got my tears. I'm embarrassed. I feel like I need to give you a copy of my dad's book just so you can glance through it. But here he says, for the protection of the virtuous, for the destruction of evildoers, and for establishing righteousness on a firm footing, I incarnate from age to age. So
so blessed and fortunate to have him as part of our life, like a part of our family.